Welcome one and all to Umami Manga. I'm Petter, and this is James.
Hello.
And today we're talking about Volume 12 of Spy Family. The volume opens with the aftermath of the bus hijacking. Anya, Damien, and Becky were praised as heroes by the other students, and some are suffering from PTSD, related or unrelated to the bus hijacking. Yor got drunk with her colleagues, which gave her the idea that she needed to have a gripe with Loid. And then Yuri showed up, even more inconveniently than usual. The second half of the volume gave us a thrilling spy drama, which I very much enjoyed.
Yes.
There, the agents of Westalis and Ostania clash to get their hands on some secret documents stolen from Weiss by a talented spy known as Winston Wheeler.
A mole, if you will.
Yes. Twilight, disguised as Yuri, fought Yuri in the sewers, while Fiona managed to retrieve the documents, but Wheeler escaped into the sewers as well, and the volume ended with Wheeler about to unmask Twilight and Fiona arriving to that scene and apparently freaking out pretty hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I'll give Endo, among many of his talents, one of the great things about his manga here is his freak out faces are very good.
Right?
He has quite great expressions when it comes
Yeah.
to serious emotions or drastic emotions.
Definitely.
I appreciate him for that. And yeah, Fiona here is going Super Saiyan. You know, it's about to happen.
I think so too.
You killed Krillin! You took off his mask!
Oh my goodness. Yes, I'm so excited for what's to come. But yes, that was this volume in a nutshell. Should we get into the character discussions?
Let's do it.
Let's start with Sylvia Sherwood, who is on the cover art of this one.
Dang girl, you live here?
Yeah. Yeah, that was such an interesting little, I guess you could say twist about her character.
Yeah. Didn't expect it.
Yeah. Her private life just kind of fell apart after she lost her family.
I know.
However, she lost her family somehow. And
Yeah.
then since then, she just hasn't been able to give a damn about how her home looks or herself. Like apparently, it does. She does slip up to a degree. For the most part, she does come off as very professional and like stylish in public, but there are hints of her sloppy self, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I think part of it is used as a alibi or an alias, I should say, when
Right. True.
she's going to the office and then turns into the handler mode.
Mm-hmm.
Then she becomes seemingly more well put together. But you're right. Even that situation, she's grabbing more coffee when she already has a cup somewhere.
For example, but yeah, and she still left the pasta stains,
Yeah.
that Bond picked up on.
Yeah, dried pasta was there.
Yeah, it's definitely also a front. So I guess she just kind of uses it, like she uses her flaw as an advantage in that way, probably knowingly.
Yeah. You mentioned seeing the glimpse of her family.
Mm.
I thought, or talking about her family, I guess, losing her family. We saw that brief glimpse of it. And it's nice to get, I guess, some confirmation that she definitely had a daughter
Right.
that was Anya's age.
Yeah.
Way back when. And, I wonder what happened to the family. If it's something that she had to separate herself from, or, they were taken out, which would be terrible, or some other reason.
Yeah.
I'm curious. And
Oh, yeah.
and I hope we get a little bit of her backstory. Would be nice.
I would love that. Because it's really been, like, it was a long time ago that we got the brief little hint that she used to have a daughter Anya's age. Like, she gave a comment briefly.
It's like back in volume 4 or something like that.
Something like that, early on, yeah. And now we got a little more. So, I have faith that further down the line we'll get even more still.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, that could be a really sad backstory.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, probably, regardless of what it is, it's probably really sad.
Yeah, yeah.
uh,
Guarantee.
hmm But yeah, it was nice to find out. I think that she like she's now taking care of the bomb dog from Project Apple.
Right. Yeah.
It's got a home with her.
Yeah. That was nice.
Yeah,
But it seems Project Apple team is still in operation,
precisely.
or at least that's the intel they're getting, and they're still checking to see if there's any connection to the Desmond family. But I
Mm.
feel that name and that connection is brought up too often, or the potential connection, I should say, is brought up too often that it cannot be addressed. It
Mm.
cannot not be addressed. There we go.
Yes,
they need to in the future. It needs to be a plot point, in my opinion,
I agree.
because it could tie in with Anya pretty easily as well.
Yeah, and Bond, like, cause
And yes, Bond
I
as well.
want Bond to get more spotlight because he's always good, and like and for him to get more serious spotlight because he's mostly a comic relief, which makes sense. He should be, I guess. But I think
Yeah,
there is room for him to have serious parts too.
and I think he's had serious parts.
Absolutely. I just think there could and should be more.
Fair, but for Anya, this is basically her backstory is Team Apple. If I'm remembering
No,
correctly,
no, that was no Project Apple
they both
was
they're both Team Apple.
were they?
Project Apple.
I thought it was just Bond. I thought Anya was from some other,
Well, I'll
but
double check.
Project. It wasn't Project Peanut, was it?
That would be
Was
hilarious.
it?
No, I don't think so. Doodle doo doo. One sec. Oh, you know what? I don't. You know what? I don't think her project was ever given, like the organization was never given a name.
Right, that could be it.
I think I had just thought that could have been the same project
Fair.
or something like that.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, but she definitely was a test subject.
Oh yes,
That we know that. But
indeed.
what was the unknown organization? I think Apple could be a possibility, even though Apple at this point seems to only be focusing on animals. To me, it seems that you have Project Apple, and that's just the initiative, right?
Mm.
But that same group can have another initiative that deals with humans, maybe.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
I feel like it would be the same group. So even if you bring Project Apple to it, yes, of course, Bond would be involved. I still think it would bring Anya in it as well. That's my thinking,
Yeah.
my rationale for all this.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Uh, but yeah, regardless of who were the ones that experimented on Anya, like they also got to get into the story at some point, right? And I guess
Yeah.
it would make things simpler, I guess, if it was Apple, because then it would be one and the same. Just bring in them and we're good, kind of. Um, and yeah, because experimenting and creating superpowers in people like that,
Mm-hmm.
or animals or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
it is a very specific thing and a very unique thing.
Yeah.
So I guess it wouldn't be too strange if it was one and the same organization.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they had Project Apple was just the animal testing, and then whatever they call the other project was for human testing.
Could be, could be. Yeah, precisely, precisely. It's just the project name is Apple. The whatever the group
Yeah.
is, we have no clue.
Yeah.
Like the group at large.
At least that's how I understand it.
Yeah, probably right. Yeah, exciting. But anything more on Sylvia?
No.
Then let's talk next about Yor Forger. So she went to the after work with her colleagues, and they wanted to hear all the juicy details about Yor's marriage and love life. Uh, but that evening definitely messed with Yor's head. Hardcore.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty bad. Whew.
My goodness. Yeah, a lot of hilarious moments came out of that.
Yeah. In her quest to be normal, she
Yeah.
somehow now wants to have gripes with her husband.
Yeah. Although luckily, ultimately, like once she sobered up, she did realize that not having any gripes is actually a good thing. So
Right.
I think she's over it, I believe.
Yeah. I think for whatever reason, the persuasion of the alcohol lingered for a long time.
Oh yes.
Um, I mean, this woman can stop a car with just a kick, so I feel like any other thing that happens to her doesn't need any explanation.
Indeed.
um, but I totally see the logic in, oh, if I want to look like I'm in a marriage, I should have some gripes or something like that. But
Right.
of course, she takes it way too far
Way too far.
and doesn't quite, I guess, understand why it's normal to have a gripe per se.
Right.
Um, and doesn't understand when, or I think now she does, but in her drunken state, understand why having a quote unquote perfect husband is a good thing. But anyway, we finally got the battle that we've been waiting for, you know, between Loid and Yor over an omelet, unfortunately.
Yes. Like you mean that like the full spread image
Yeah.
of them just standing
It's happening.
dramatically.
It's happening.
It's
Yeah.
so it was so awesome. I love that.
Uh,
Even though it's not real, it's just like yeah,
not really.
just seeing that though is so fun. uh,
It's almost as if this was a tease of the future in a way, or maybe he is acknowledging that yes, I understand what the fans are somewhat trying to predict or
exactly.
would like to see, but we're not there yet, people.
For sure. And you know, it's
Maybe.
probably not gonna go down this way exactly.
Yeah, probably not exactly. Well,
Or unless it
yeah.
does. Unless this exact like full spread page thing is reused later in the story for real.
And she wants more sugar in her omelets. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
It could be interesting if she does go to the gardener. I believe that's his name, right?
Uh,
No. What was his name? It's something else.
yeah, it's something else. Shopkeeper.
Shopkeeper. And somehow convinces him that she has to kill Loid because maybe she finds out something about him,
Yeah,
like his true identity or whatever. And so maybe in that sense it could be the case, but I
indeed.
don't know. But anyway, that was obviously just hallucination and imagination. But the other thing that came of this, besides the gripe stuff, was the girls talking about being or just having a normal uh, welcome home kiss,
Indeed.
and obviously that got Yor very flustered. But you know, at some point, if you want this fake marriage to last, I don't know. I feel like you got to get over that hump.
Yes. Now kiss.
Now kiss force.
Uh,
But the day these two actually kiss, unfortunately, the manga's probably going to be over. That's what it feels like. He's just going to milk this, not even sexual tension, but this
just yeah, some other kind of
pure
tension.
awkwardness. I don't know.
Yeah, well, we shall see.
It would be nice if we actually did get something along those lines, but
I'm sure we
I
will.
don't see it
I'm
happening
sure we
anytime
will.
soon.
No, no. Yeah, no, me neither. But eventually, I definitely am expecting it. Well, anything else on your?
Yeah, lastly, I noted that she does indeed care if Loid cheats.
Yes.
Cheats, quotation marks.
Uh huh.
But when she came back to herself, she broke a dish and blamed Yuri for putting the thought of Loid cheating in her mind.
Yeah.
So it's definitely bothering her. This isn't technically the first time she's had these feelings. I think when Fiona was first brought into the scene, there was fear that she was going to be replaced and things like that. Uh, so maybe that's just an extension of this. But, you know, maybe this is a sign of deeper feelings being developed.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, but I think it is slowly but steadily growing.
Yeah, that's it for me.
Coolio. Then let's talk about Loid Forger next. When he was fighting Yuri in the sewers, Twilight noticed himself holding back.
Yeah,
And I don't think that's anything that the old Twilight would have done, probably, to anyone. I don't think he would have held back against anyone.
I
Like,
agree.
the Twilight that became known as the world's greatest spy, flawless in every way, probably wouldn't have done that. But obviously, because he is, as we were just talking about with Yor, there is a connection growing between the two of them. And so, because of that, obviously, now he doesn't want to harm, or at least he doesn't want to kill uh, Yor's brother. So I think that's in a way is a pretty big realization for him. If he has fully realized it, I guess he did seem a bit confused about it. Like, why am I holding back?
Yeah, yeah. And this is a state security service agent we're talking about here. So
Yeah,
I think that that is definitely abnormal for him.
for sure.
And I agree with you that it's certainly because it's uh, yours brother, and because of the relationship growing, he becomes very much hesitant.
Indeed. So it's sweet. It's sweet. In various little ways, we're getting these hints about their feelings for one another starting to maybe grow.
Yeah, yeah. This was definitely one of the most suspenseful missions in the story so far.
Indeed.
Certainly, the bomb ones were suspenseful, but this one has Twilight on the ropes,
It
and
really does.
we haven't seen that too many times.
Have we ever seen Twilight in this dire of a situation as we are in the cliffhanger here?
Maybe
I
not.
can't remember a time when it's been that when he himself has been in that much danger.
Yeah, yeah. Not Lloyd himself or Twilight himself.
Right.
I mentioned the bomb. I think that was pretty tight, cutting it close,
Right. It was.
but not not to the extent of someone rivaling him uh in this way.
Yeah, because
I don't
like in this
think.
case, obviously we'll probably talk in predictions more about what we expect to come here, but just spitting out like there's a lot of different things that are on the line now. Not just his life, for one, but his
Uh huh.
his secret identity, like or like
Yeah.
his identity, is on the line as well, which is a huge thing for this character in particular. So
Yeah.
yeah, the stakes are high.
Absolutely.
Very exciting.
Yeah. It's quite the cliffhanger,
Yeah. Oh
all things
yeah,
considered.
for sure.
Last thing I'll say, I'm just gonna throw this in here. Well, actually, I have a few things to say about other minor characters I'll throw in, but I want to mention that the way the Triple S group, whatever service, finds their own mole was clever,
Yeah,
even though
it was
it outed Twilight. Uh, yeah, hats off to them to get a code like that,
very well done. Yeah,
a trap like that set.
yeah.
So, so speaking of moles, Winston Wheeler.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, this is the guy who's basically taking off Lloyd's mask as we end the volume.
Indeed,
He's no joke.
not at
I
all.
was unsure what his skill level would be. Twilight did, praise him for being a great spy, but I did not expect him to be close to his equal. Although, to be fair, Lloyd was quite exhausted
Yes, I think
at the point that they met.
for sure had he not been that exhausted, I don't think it would have ended up like it did.
Yeah,
But still, Wheeler is still no joke.
yeah. But I think that's it. Lloyd, Twilight, that whole arc for me.
Right, me as well. So let's move on and talk a little bit about Yuri Breyer. He was very funny in the first scene that he appeared in this book, but
Huh.
definitely we'll save, I guess, that for comedy stuff, I suppose. But it was just a brilliant entrance.
It was really good comedic timing.
On a more serious note, for that latter half of the volume, I think Yuri was onto something when he questioned in his head why Twilight would disguise himself as Yuri, and he speculated that Twilight may be a person that is someone that's somewhat close to Yuri in Yuri's
Mm-hmm.
life. So he is starting to figure things out. Like, okay, so yeah, whoever Twilight is could be someone close to me in my life, or somewhat close to me, because it's someone who may have been studying my, well, yeah, how I act and how I move, how I speak. I do expect him to, or I should say, I hope that he will continue to narrow things down and continue to piece things together based on this.
Yeah, I think that that would be a very interesting plot point if it went the way of Yuri figures out that Loid is Twilight,
Right.
or at least has a strong assumption that that's the case. That would be
Right.
quite the twist. Alternatively, it could be a joke chapter where he is convinced that, or has a hunch that Loid is Twilight, and so he tries to keep an eye on him and see if that's really the case.
Mm.
But Loid being the master of disguise and spy operative that he is, he's able to somehow trick Yuri into not believing that.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh well, Loid can't be. Never mind. What was I thinking? He's stupid.
Right,
You
right.
know.
Definitely could see that. Then next, let's talk a bit about Damien Desmond. His mom cooked a nice and tasty meal for him, but she left before, well, seeing him. So she didn't want to be there for the mealtime. But
Yeah, I think it's a very nice gesture without being present. You know.
absolutely. But I don't know. It feels to me like she will only love him in secret or something. Like she doesn't dare to show him her love, so instead she acts like just that strange and creepy in front of him, like the way she did at the end of the previous volume.
Mm-hmm.
But really, she does love him. But maybe it's because of Damien Desmond, or not Damien. Maybe it's because of Donovan Desmond that she is afraid to show her love to her son.
Maybe, but going back to the previous volume, she had equal thoughts of, "Oh my gosh, I love him," to "I hate you, you spawn of Desmond."
True.
Like those were conflicting feelings she had and like conflicting thoughts that Anya
True.
was reading.
Right.
So I don't know if it's necessarily that she doesn't dare show her love as, out of fear or whatever it could be. I think it's just a very conflicting and complicated person. Uh, Extreme tsundere in that sense.
Oh yes.
For whatever reason, she doesn't want Damien to know
Mm-hmm.
because the butler has to basically put himself out there and say it that it was mom who did it. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah. So I don't know. It's very complicated, and I hope their relationship gets addressed at some point, and I'm sure it will. But
Right.
yeah,
Yeah. It's so sad. Like the whole Desmond family is such a sad family.
it is very sad. But
Uh,
even within that sadness, I think this moment was a bright spot
yeah.
where I think Damien felt a little bit of love
It
that
true.
he probably had been lacking.
It definitely gave him some joy.
It put a smile on his face,
Yeah.
even if it was slight,
It was sweet.
or he was trying to hide it.
Yeah. Oh, he's so cute. But anything else on Damien?
He apologizes for hurting Anya's feelings, and he just can't stand seeing her cry.
Yeah.
And then in the short mission, he promises Anya the moon. It's like, damn, boy.
Oh yes.
Might as well just propose to her at this
Dude.
point. I'm just kidding, you're a child. Don't do that.
But yeah, that was very nice.
Yeah.
He just needs to speak up a little.
Yeah. Not for another 10 years or so.
Right, at least.
Time skip when? Okay.
Indeed.
I'm done.
Indeed, when. Oh, goodness. Very well. Next up, let's talk a little bit about Anya.
Double Starlight Anya. Get it right. Get
You're
it
right. The era of Anya has begun.
Oh, so good. So good.
It's fantastic.
And so Plan B becomes B Plan.
Yes, because it's the reverse of Plan B.
Right. No, but no. Seriously. Instead of going to Damien's house, you bring the Damien to your house.
Yeah, I mean, it's
brilliant.
Incredibly clever.
Yes. I really don't think I don't think Donovan Desmond would end up setting foot in their house in that situation.
Very unlikely.
But Endo could really subvert expectations if that were to actually happen.
Indeed. Honestly, I would love to see the B plan come to fruition.
Yeah. Plan B, B plan, oh yeah.
Exactly.
But it is funny, also funny how quickly she loses sight of her main objective. We've seen that at various times, but in this chapter specifically, it was very, very obvious. Very hilarious.
So funny.
It just didn't even matter at one point. It was all about herself.
It really became all about herself. Just all about her popularity and getting 100 friends so she can conquer the world.
I want to conquer the world. Is that too much to ask? So speaking of Anya and conquering the world, I'm going to bring in Becky here.
Yes, do it.
She knows Anya so well and understands when she's stretching the truth, spinning it a yarn, if you will, and tries to help clean up her mistakes. It's like, oh no, you mean like this?
Yeah.
Something like that. Obviously, Anya takes it the wrong way, but Becky, is being the good friend that she is, and she probably would have done this before, but this is the first time we've seen her trying to fix Anya's mistake in this way. Usually, she just kind of stands back and gives commentary,
right,
on the romance happening between Anya and Damien, or whatever, or the illusion of romance.
Indeed, yeah.
I guess delusion, but anyway, this time she's actually stepping in and trying to save Anya from crashing and burning. But unfortunately, Anya is just this wrecking ball that nobody could stop.
She's blinded by her, whatever she was.
Popularity. Sudden popularity.
Yeah.
The double starlight.
The double starlight Anya is just too dazzling, blinding.
It's too blinding. Yeah. Blinding. Yes. And that's all the characters I have.
Nice. And just finally, I just wanted to mention Thomas Austin. I thought he was an interesting. He got an interesting little chapter. Oh, he appeared before that chapter, but he got one chapter that was basically his chapter, and he really is a not such a tactful gentleman, I suppose you could say, with his and his wife's relationship just being all sorts of bad. Because initially I felt bad for him, but then then we learned that he was also largely at fault. So it's really just the both of them, both him and his wife, are just not great.
Yep.
So yeah,
it was a funny chapter. I don't necessarily know if we're ever gonna see this guy again. I thought it would have been funny if he was actually married to what's her name that gives a bunch of thunders bolts or whatever.
Oh, Donna Schlag.
Yeah. Yes, that name.
Yes. Then, let us move into the comedy discussion here. The first thing that really got me was Damien shivering at the thought of Anya being taken from him by some other student, and he just, like, literally smacked down the speech bubble with a shiver. That was awesome.
Yes. The fourth wall break. So good.
So good. I didn't really understand what was going on at first, but then I guess I lingered on that panel. I realized what he was doing, and like, wow, that's brilliant. We also found out that Anya is too cute to have snot.
Yeah.
Except I'm pretty sure we've seen her with snot in her nose. So.
Yeah. Yeah, she really thinks highly of herself.
Oh yes. It's great. And yeah, we touched on it, but the whole deal with Yor being drunk and confused on the afterwork was fantastically hilarious.
Yeah. It was funny moment after funny moment in that one.
Yeah, like the full spread, like with the dramatic scene between her and Loid, as we talked about. That was one of the funny highlights for me, and then like the when when you're dodged out of the way from the welcome home kiss, except he wasn't gonna give her a welcome home kiss, but in her head she thought he was, and just that dodge was also really funny, and her face and everything.
Right.
Oh my goodness, crazy.
I really thought the Bond and Aaron chapter had some funny, with Sylvia. It's funny moments. I felt bad for Aaron because everyone was forgetting him.
Yeah.
I guess Bond was like, I don't know who you are.
Yeah, come on, Bond.
Not ringing a bell. Yeah, he has a good life now, but that was kind of funny, sad.
Yeah.
This match is in the bag, and then Bond gets smacked in the face. That was great.
That was great.
Very good setup.
Fantastic, yeah.
You already mentioned Yudi coming in at the moment. It's like, yay, my sweet sister!
Yeah, could not have been a worse moment for him to show up. Couldn't have been. I love that.
I love how exacerbated Loid is. He's just like, oh, shut up. He says it twice, or at least once in his head, and then one he actually says out loud.
Yeah.
as Judy's just, repeating or basically trying to make it worse or whatever.
Right. I also thought it was, I don't know, I was surprised at myself at how funny I thought it was. Like, initially when he came in, Yuri came in, and he the panel after he comes in and reacts to it, he then like points at Loid and is like, what have you done to my sister? And then like on the page after, they conversed a little bit, and Yor describes that it's something that Loid did yesterday, and then it's like Yuri does the same point to Loid, and he's like, what did you do to my sister yesterday? And like, just for some reason that repeated, and just with the word yesterday after, it just made it really funny to me. What did you do to her yesterday? Like, it's so dumb. I don't know. Funny. Stupid.
I love the line that Yor gives, or because Lloyd's asking, okay, so how long have you been holding these grievances for? And she's like, oh no, just since yesterday, right. She says with a smile on her face.
Yeah.
It's like this sweet, innocent smile. Yeah. No, since yesterday.
She has no clue how serious this is, the whole thing that she created. Wow. I thought it was also funny to see how much Loid was freaking out internally because he couldn't figure out why Yor was having these grievances. Yeah. And I think that also could have been something that, like, or at least to me, it made it especially funny because we had just had the chapter with Thomas Austin, the school tutor, who couldn't see his flaws in his relationship. And here Twilight is struggling. It's not really not in the same way, but I think Loid or Twilight could be feeling like, oh my god, no, now I'm that guy, kind of, who can't read the room or who doesn't understand his wife. So that made it funnier to me.
And then when Yor follows him all the way to the hospital and suddenly realizes, wait a minute, I'm in a great fake relationship. Yeah. I'm going home. That's it for me in terms of comedy.
I just have some stuff from the zoo chapter, like the bonus chapter at the zoo.
Whoa, 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 whoa!
Or
A zoo chapter?
oh, did you know? Oh, dude. Let's pause. So we just cut out a couple minutes there. Turns out the zoo bonus little chapter, or I guess it's not technically a bonus chapter. It's like a volume exclusive, I believe. A little 4-page thing. James had not had access to until now, so uh, we found a place where he could read that real quick. So you just did, and yeah, it's only comedy in there, pretty much, and that's where I have my last couple of comedy notes from. The flamingo part I thought was very funny. How Anya questions like, "Was I fed red pigments too?" In the official translation, it's red pigments. She says, obviously not knowing what pigments are, and she has pink hair, so it's a fair question. Was she born with white hair? In that case, maybe. And the other part was when they point out the okapi, and they both say okapi, okapi, and I thought that was that got me pretty good, and I think it's mostly because I read Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
Some Attack on Titan fans may know why.
AOT fans would know.
Yeah.
Wink, wink.
I'll just leave it at that, I guess. But yeah.
I almost wonder, is that a reference?
I honestly,
know.
I could see it being that, actually, because it definitely could be. It's just the two of them saying okapi, okapi, very similarly to that part in Attack on Titan.
Didn't Endo work a bit with
Isayama?
Isayama?
Really?
Yeah.
That's news to me.
I think he did.
Could be.
No, it's not, because we talked about this.
Have we? It slipped my mind in that case.
I think. Yes, Tetsuya Endo used to do assistant work while he was not doing his original work. In fact, the Blue Lock and Spy Family are manga done by former assistants of Isayama. Tatsuya Endo, the author of Spy Family, is my great rival in ping pong, is what Isayama said.
Oh, really? Honestly, I don't remember having heard about that before, but
we talked about it like towards like one of the first volume discussions or whatever.
That is really funny. Yeah. In that case, it makes it even more likely because it's such a specific little thing, and without, like, if I hadn't read Attack on Titan, that panel with the okapi here in this chapter would not have, like, I wouldn't have seen any point with it, but it was funny to me because of Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
But anyway. That is great.
Yeah.
Alrighty, then let's finish this off with some predictions. So, big question. Do you think Twilight's face will be revealed or not?
If it is, they're gonna have to kill what's his name?
Wheeler, yeah.
Wheeler.
I suppose so, yeah.
I don't. Have we gone that far? We've certainly had violence, but have we killed someone on the page before? I don't
think there's been like obviously there have been deaths, but they've been like far away deaths, I guess.
Yeah. Off-screen deaths or something like that.
Yeah, or like in an explosion where you don't see anything, I guess.
Right.
Stuff like that.
Yeah. I don't think so. I think there'll be a twist, whether it's Fiona stopping him or even Loid or Twilight somehow pulling one over on Wheeler. Honestly, a thought that I had when I first read it was that somehow Loid switched places with Wheeler, and it's actually Twilight in a Wheeler mask, and for some reason he's removing the Yuri mask off of Wheeler's face.
Interesting.
I don't know. Maybe the reason he's doing that is to leave a demasked Wheeler for the SSS to find. But I don't know exactly what benefit that would be.
I don't
They have to
know.
take they have to take him in anyway. So this is
Yeah.
not something that you just leave him be. You have to take him in.
Right. Yeah, and, like I was also trying to look for ways how like to see like how that scene with Wheeler peeling off Twilight's mask,
Uh huh.
like how that could be something other than what it appears to be.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's actually the real Yuri. But it's probably
So
not.
Yuri had a mask of himself.
Well, in that case, Twilight would have had to like put a Yuri mask on Yuri's face while he was
Right.
unconscious or something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't think it is because it has like the wrap around the arm where he got injured. Like it is probably Twilight.
Yeah.
And he was worn out. You know, it makes sense for him to have lost to Wheeler.
Yeah.
So all things considered, I think it is what it appears to be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think Twilight is beaten here. I don't think he can do much. I think Fiona is going to save the day at the start of the next volume.
Mm. I mean that's what it seems to be hinting at, right?
Right.
I like to think or try to come up with the unexpected, but at this point that it just seems like that's the most likely scenario where Fiona somehow goes Super Saiyan mode and
Yeah.
is able to stop him.
Indeed.
But will that stop him from actually seeing Twilight's face?
I think I'm gonna say yes.
Okay.
I
I'm gonna
think.
say I'll be the differing opinion, and even though I think it's important for him to keep his secret identity, I'm gonna say that Wheeler does
Mm,
see his face, even if it's just a glimpse of it
right.
or
Oh.
just a cheek or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but they take him into custody, and so they're gonna have him as a prisoner
Right.
for a long time.
I like that too.
Maybe further down the line, he comes back
Ah.
and desperately is trying to squeal on Twilight and his cover.
That would be nice for him to like return and being like the one bad guy that actually knows Twilight's real face.
Yeah, I think that could be an interesting arc if it went that direction.
I do like that. But yeah. Like at the very least, somehow it's going to get resolved and it's going to be good.
Yeah.
Um, you know, at least in the moment here. Uh,
Yeah.
However, or good. Well, I say good, but I do actually have one prediction that is not. Well. Actually, no. It is a good outcome in a sense, but it is a bit weird. So, well, what I was thinking is that Fiona might lose her faith in Twilight after seeing him defeated like this,
Oh.
because I think the image that Fiona has of Twilight in her head, Twilight is flawless and unbeatable in every single way. So I figured that maybe seeing him like this, she might drop that crush that she has on him and be able to move on with her life. She's disillusioned with him.
Yeah.
And if this happens, it's not going to happen instantly. She will first, go through this nervous breakdown or whatever she's going through at the moment, and she will act and she will save the day. But after that, she will be like, wait a minute, maybe Twilight isn't all that.
Well, I guess to humor you,
Mm-hmm.
I'll say that that could lead to a very similar situation where I said that Yuri was suspecting Loid. Oh, this could be interesting. So what if as Fiona is doubting her feelings for Twilight, Yuri is suspecting Loid as Twilight, and so they both watch over him, and in the end, Yuri becomes convinced that he's not Twilight because he can't be. He's stupid, and then Fiona is just so impressed with his cover on hiding his identity, everything. She falls madly in love again with him. That could be an interesting way of going about it.
Yeah.
But I don't think you could take away her infatuation with Loid. I think that I would love for her to move on. That'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's such a key comedy factor that getting rid of that seems
Hmm.
not a great move in my opinion.
Fair. I get that. Yeah. I guess, yeah, I do get that. That said, though, it's still a change, or like a change of pace that I would welcome so much personally. I think it would
Hmm.
be really exciting. And maybe for Fiona to find someone else
Yeah.
to swoon over, you know?
I mean, I agree that I would like for her to move on or find someone else.
Hmm.
That's true.
Maybe Yuri.
Right, right. Yudi or Frankie. I think Frankie was something that we were
Yeah,
we were
it
kind
seemed
of,
very one-sided, but
know,
I guess, she could have a change of heart, I suppose.
eh, yeah, yeah, she could. Um,
Uh,
but yeah, I mean, if it's gonna happen, I guess this may not be a bad time for it.
mm. Because I figured like that was one of the reasons for her kind of meltdown here. Because she's never seen Twilight in this state before, and she's like, wait a minute, he's not a superhero or like unbeatable, immortal kind of thing.
Uh,
The way she kind of perceives him. But yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna say I don't think that's gonna happen. I think she understands the situation and how much of a pinch she was in and everything that she won't
Mm,
hold it against him.
fair.
Um,
Mm, mm. I mean, I will preface that even if this would happen, I don't think she would like dislike him or disrespect him or like don't not want to work with him. I think they're still going to be a team, but she would not be as madly in love with him or crazy about him as she is kind of
yeah.
the change that I could see.
Honestly, I feel that this situation is one of her dream scenarios where, oh my gosh, Twilight needs my help. I'm the only one who can save
Oh
him.
yeah.
And then I do, and he loves me forever.
Oh yeah, maybe that's why she's freaking out because like I
That
guess
could be.
yeah. That I like that too.
This is my chance.
My one chance. Uh,
Breathe, breathe.
oh wow.
But I don't know for sure. Anyway,
Yeah.
interesting thought.
Mm. But I actually don't have any other predictions, so shoot, go with whatever you got left.
My only other prediction that we haven't already talked about, well, actually, I had Zoo Day with Becky, so that was one of my predictions. It came true.
It did.
It came
Yay.
true.
Well done.
But no, my other prediction that hadn't been mentioned was Yor confronting Loid about cheating.
Oh yeah.
She's kind of tiptoed around that before,
Mm-hmm.
and then come to the conclusion, it's like, oh no, he's faithful. But I wonder if there's only so many times you can doubt your fake spouse uh, until you confront him about that.
That's true.
I don't know where that would lead to be honest, especially since we had moments where Loid tries to put the Riz on her and it basically shoots right in his face or kicks him right in the face. But that did lead to a really good moment between the two.
Oh yes.
Not just romantically, but also a little bit of backstory for Loid
Indeed.
with the mother singing part. So,
Right.
I'm still predicting that's going to happen. And then maybe we'll get a new facet of their relationship or even their past in some way through that.
I like it.
When was the last time they had a date?
Oof.
Can you remember?
Feels like it's been a while. Although this series also releases pretty slowly, so
Yeah, true.
everything has been a while.
It could have been last volume for all I know.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
It wasn't last volume.
I think there's like 2 volumes a year or something like that, maybe 3. But
Yeah, it's 2 volumes a year.
It's a slow releasing one. This one.
Yeah. Next one is not till January, I think, for us in English.
Gotcha. But I'm so stoked. This, as we said at the beginning, this is one of the biggest cliffhangers we've had. So very exciting, and I can't wait for volume 13.
Agreed.
But I suppose that is all for this episode. Oh, that was an I, like an I as an I.
I let it.
I thought you were like gonna say something about yourself. Anyway.
I realized after during the pause that he probably thought I meant the letter I or whatever. Anyway,
beautiful.
No.
Very well, on that note, we are ending this episode. So, if you enjoy our content, you can follow us on Twitter at Umami Manga, and it would be lovely if you'd like to support us by rating our show on the podcast platforms and subscribing to our channel Umami Manga on YouTube. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time when we'll talk about Volume 13. Bye-bye.
See you later. The era of Anya has begun.
Woohoo!
Free peanuts for everybody.
Oh yeah, what a fantastic world.